in this video I just wanted to share some thoughts about being a human being in 2020. So keep watching, let's dive in. So 1964 represents the Civil Rights Act movement, the 14th Amendment of the US Constitution to outlaw segregation of race, colour, inequality. And that's what, nearly 60 years ago? I just wanted to share some thoughts about what we do with this intellectually. And the main issue I'm seeing is it's the wrong question. It's intellectually, we're beyond that, because for what we see on the news and what we see off the news, even just as importantly, all the videos that we don't see, that we all know about, that have been going on for hundreds of years, it's beyond an intellectual matter. We're now moving from the head space to the heart space, because everything we're seeing, and this might be a high concept for some, but it really shouldn't, it should be a real basic concept, is we're from one planet. We're from one big ball of dirt. And everybody, every single body that comes from this planet is collectively all part of the same thing. So when we're born, there's no racism, there's no sexism, there's no homophobia. When we're born from this planet, we're at a neutral plateau of love, peace, equality, and all those other nice things that some people shy away from because they think it's a bit hippie or whatever. Well, it's truly time in this day and age to intellectually think about that simple concept and understand that anything that isn't love, peace, equality is an intellectual process that has severely gone wrong. And it's taken 60 years for us to kind of collectively come together, because we've visually seen something now which has brought people together. But it's not a concept that we're gonna intellectually figure out. And I've seen a lot of people on social media finally standing up and speaking out, which is great, but it also saddens me that it's taken something like this for people to speak out. And as soon as we start talking about this stuff, people have got their opinions, and it's just a build-up of more and more data that's full of anger, full of frustration, full of resentment, full of pain, full of oppression. And intellectually, it's, excuse my French, well no I won't, intellectually it's messed up, it's tangled, it's where do you even start? Where do you even start? So when we move into the heart space and we realize that we're from this one ball of dirt, then the issue is a collective issue. It's within us. And yes, you might not be a racist person, but everything we're seeing and witnessing around the world starts with you. And as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. If you don't feel like you have a voice, and you don't feel like posting, sharing out of fear of being, annihilated by someone with opinions and beliefs, the starting place is to go within and heal what you feel is happening on a collective level. So if you don't understand what that means, it simply means, I didn't want to do a little video like this because I want to stick to my little mindwave thing and offer little morning routines and how to keep this going. But when you wake up each morning as a human being and you feel that pain in your chest as a white person, you have to do whatever you can do. And if this reaches 8 people and makes 4 of those people go, okay, it's channeling what's in here and putting it into something, so you can convert that energy into something positive. And you know, I just do my little mind wave thing, so you know, that is only going to go as far as it's going to go. But there's so many amazing police men and women out there that this is going to dramatically shift a lot, and there's so many great police out there that are doing amazing things already that don't even get seen and don't, you know, and then there's going to be a lot of police out there and a lot of enforcement, and it's going to trickle out. And it is really sad that it's got to this point where we've finally come together. It feels that way anyway. We've finally come together and we're gonna see change. And the change truly starts with you. So you could just be a guy walking down the street, working in a pub. Like, how does that affect you? I worked in pubs for 16 years in a local village up north where it was highly racist, but it was quiet racism, you know? So on the other hand, it's amazing to see people speak out and speak up and say their thoughts and share their opinions and try and help other people through this process, so we can collectively change the times. We've seen it done before. It can happen, it does happen, it will happen, it is happening. And I think I just wanted to make this video for the people that feel like they have to say something but they don't know what to say or how to go about processing all this information. So the best thing I've seen is I understand that I will never understand however I stand. Because we will, as a white person, we will never understand what it's like to be black. Growing up with a black stepdad and his family, I saw a glimpse of what goes on blatantly around us, just a glimpse. And you know, we lived in a small village where it's highly racist. You know, one of the locals was called Keith the Racist Roofer. And that was just a normal thing. When we first walked into the village, the whole pub turned around and stared at my dad, and then at the family, like an interracial family, and it was just, they couldn't process it. And you know, one guy had covered his drink. He didn't want any of him getting into his drink, and that was his statement, like, ugh. And watching what my dad did over the years, just by making friends with everybody and changing everybody's minds, it might have taken 15 years for some of them. But you know, he would drive down the street and he celebrated. And you know, saw little things on holiday. Someone threw a knife from the top of a window. I know nothing. I saw tiny little glimpses, and I saw how it affected my dad. And you know, I know that I know nothing in comparison to what he's been through and what he still goes through. So if you feel like you need to write a post or make a video, you know, it's a tricky time, because people don't know how to compute this information. So, you know, the solution isn't just around the corner. It's not a quick fix, but we are absolutely going through this time in history where everything is bubbling to the surface. Everything that is not right, that no longer can be turned a blind eye to, is bubbling up. And it's causing a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of pain, and a lot of destruction in some places. And I understand that it's going to cause violence. I get it. My opinion is non-valid. So I want to talk to the people that are confused but want to show some love and help change. And all I can say from my experience of doing this kind of stuff is that it starts with you. It absolutely starts with you. Like, I was in that pub serving Keith, the racist roofer, and, you know, he'd tell a joke, and normally everyone would laugh, and I'd just, you know, put my head down because I thought that's the way it was, because that's all I knew. Then my dad would come in, and everyone would go quiet, and Keith would go, "Whoa, what's up, lads? That was a funny one, then. That was a funny one." And my dad would maybe give me the house key and go, "All right, Keith," you know, make his mark. And then Keith would look up and go, "Oh, sorry, Glenn, I didn't know you were there." That mentality, I didn't know you were there, that's all got to go. That should have never have been. But I think 2020, much like 1964, is another landmark. I think this is the time when we have to reassess that 1964 Civil Rights Act and reframe the world and our collective thoughts about how we live with each other. Because you know that there's thousands of those videos that were never shot happening every day all over the world. And if you don't know what to say, you don't know who to support, you know, even the places we're supporting are, it's tricky because some of those are run by platforms which I personally don't trust myself, with their own agendas. And we happily share all these things and support these hashtags, and we don't really know what that's a part of ultimately. So if this video can be of any assistance, I'd just like to share that if we heal ourselves on a fundamental level, heal all of that hate, racism, oppression, apathy, heal that within you. And all that takes is just by tuning in and focusing on your heart space and seeing yourself as part of the collective consciousness, as this one ball of dirt. Because when you do heal that in you'll start to heal that around you. So if I was doing this practice back then and I heard those racist comments, I'd speak up and I'd say what I think, and I'd make that change there and maybe convince one other person that that's not right. But because I didn't have the tools or the education or the know-how, just put my head down and listen to it for years. And then it builds frustration, anger and resentment and disgust. But where does that go? It just goes round and round and round, and then it comes out in behavior. And that's what we need to change. White, black, any color, that's what we need to change. We need to change our immediate surroundings, our immediate thoughts. You know, we're not all the next Martin Luther King or Gandhi, or, you know, we're not all those people. We can't necessarily do huge monumental changes. But what we can do is change ourselves, our thoughts, how we feel, think about what we feel, instead of just going, "Oh, that doesn't feel good. I don't like that. Don't like those thoughts. I'm just gonna like that." Hear no evil, see no evil. What is it? Think no evil, speak no evil. I don't like that. I don't like that phrase. I've just heard evil, 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 evil 4 times. You know, let's start by questioning all these things that we listen to, we hear, speak. What are you listening to? Are you listening to music that's talking about killing people? Are you watching stuff where shooting people and murdering people is just a normal thing? We're getting desensitized to this culture and the how we see life. And, you know, don't unconsciously watch stuff, and, you know, it seeps into your unconsciousness, and then that's what you just think, oh well, that's just what is, that's just the way the world is. It's not. It's people making programs and music because it's representing life, but then if you're listening to it or watching it unconsciously, it's feeding in and the cycle repeats. So pain and suffering, when converted into art, can be impactful because it can help us think and move forward and progress. If you're mindlessly absorbing all this stuff on an unconscious level, then it's going to sink into you and desensitize you. So start consciously thinking about what you're sharing, what you're thinking, what you're watching, what you're listening to, how you feel about things. When a comment happens and it's a friend that you've known for years that has got some odd or outdated beliefs, do you go, oh, that's just the way they are, or do you put your friendship on the line? Cut them out. You try and say, that's not right. You can't talk like that. And if they come back at you, chop them out. You don't need those people. If you can show them love with your words or your actions, if that can do anything to spark something in that unconscious mind of theirs and help change something, then that's the best you've got. But ultimately, we can tune in to ourselves and build up this force field of love so we can share love and change. Because it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a long process, and we're in the time in humanity that's like the birthing process of change. We're seeing the pedophiles and the corruption and the racism and everything boil to the surface, and it's the most insane time. It's the most confusing time to live in humanity. But on the other end of this, we're going to see the light, and we're going to look back, and kids are going to read about oppression, and they're not going to be able to connect with it. And on one hand, that's sad because they don't know where they've come from, where we've come from. But on the other hand, it's beautiful because it's no longer part of their world. And that's where we want to get to collectively. So do whatever you can, whatever feels right to you. Tune into yourself. How do you feel about life right now? How do you feel about being a human being in 2020? How can you make a difference? And if you really can't, or you just need to have a moment, then let's just tune in for a second. And when you tune in, I want you to breathe deeply and feel the world, the collective pain and suffering of the world in your heart. And if that's a hippie thing to you, watch something else. But just do it for a moment. And just know that on a tiny microcosmic level, this is doing something. It's doing something. It's healing something within you that is helping the collective consciousness in some way. So, as Gandhi so profoundly said, be the change that you want to see. Because sometimes that's all you've got. And if you can change that within you that is represented within the world on some level, then that is a start, and that's how we're going to change the world, individually and collectively together. So I just want to give my compassion and sympathy to everybody out there suffering because of this. Every life that's been impacted by this throughout history. And I hope that you can process this time and this information in the safest way possible. So thanks for watching, and let's just tune in for a second. So feel this area around your heart. Put your hand there just to feel it. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, in your mind, create the vision that you want to see in the world. See the people in power you want to see in power. See a world where what we've seen doesn't exist anymore. See it in as much detail as you possibly can. See yourself in this world, playing your part. No matter how small or how big you want to go, see yourself playing a part. Now with this image, come into the heart space and amplify that feeling of love, of peace, and let it expand outside your body, all around your body. Amplify love and peace. Just know that you're a tiny, tiny cell in a larger organism. What you think and feel is helpful for the greater good. And keep on amplifying that love and peace, and let it spread out all around you, all around the room you're in, all around the town or city that you live in. Go and amplify it, make it stretch out all around you in all directions. And then out throughout your country. Cross into the next country. And look at the map, now stretch out. See your love and peace wrapping around the world, infusing the hearts and minds of everybody. Keep replaying this picture. Change, collective equality, and feel that vibration within you cultivate. And breathe into it deeply. Breathe in a new present future, a new positive present future. And exhale the past. Breathe in a new story. And exhale all the wrongs and evils of the world. Breathe in your new day, and exhale yesterday. And take a deep breath, and breathe out. And with that feeling, infuse that feeling of love and peace and harmony and compassion and respect. And infuse that into your conversations, into the work you do, into the clothes you wear, into the story of who you are and what you're here to do, and all that you are. And the very next time you hear anything that goes against that feeling, then speak up and say something, do something, create something, and play a better part in this world.